Why, that's it. Sure. Look. It's a big W, I tell you. It's a big W.
And hello everyone, welcome once again. My name is Logan, and this is Decode Your Reality, and today I'm doing one on the letter W. We'll be decoding the letter W, and you just saw a short clip from the classic 1963 movie, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, and that was the great Jonathan Winters. And it's this movie right here. If you've never seen it, it's a really funny movie. But the reason why I'm showing it, of course, is because there's a big W in the form of palm trees. And the story of this movie is, which is really fascinating, and it ties into my presentation. There's a just relieved convict, and he crashes off of California State Route 74. Remember that number, 74. And these people right here, they all kind of witnessed the crash, and he ends up telling them there's $350,000 buried in a park under a big W. And so the chase is on, and these people, it's a really funny movie. But the big standouts, the big W and Route 74. Really, really interesting. So here it is, folks. Let's get started. First and foremost, as you know, I use numerology, which is the science of numbers. Letters turn into numbers, which can then be measured. The letter W is the 23rd letter in the English alphabet in the Chaldean numerology, which is the oldest known numerology cipher on the planet, which is why I primarily use it. If you're not using it, I'm going to suggest you do. I think it's a crime when you don't use it, but nonetheless, that equals the number 23. Keep that in mind, because we're going to keep seeing this as a reoccurring pattern as we do this presentation. So the word crown equals 23. The letter W is the 23rd letter in the English alphabet. So there's a direct connection right there. That's why the crown likes using this letter. You'll see it flipped. Its mirror is the letter W, the 13th letter. But this is how you get it right here. You go to gematrinator.com, and here's all your numerology, folks. And I'm going to suggest, because you'll get what's called the base ciphers, this is what it'll look like. You want to go to reverse, get rid of these ridiculous reverse ciphers. This is more advanced, and I really think these are watered down, but nonetheless, I'm not here to try to tell you what to not use right now. I want to tell you what to use. I'm going to suggest you go to the other, click on Chaldean, and then you're going to make your foundation based off these two until you get familiarized with numerology. But nonetheless, here they are right here. You'll notice W is 23, but it's a 6 in Chaldean. How's that possible? Well, the English uses the numbers 1 through 26, A through Z, matching those up. And then Chaldean is a little different. It only uses the numbers 1 through 8. And they're all jumbled because it goes by what's called phonetics, which is the vibrational frequency or the sound of each letter. Much more accurate this way, in my opinion. Nonetheless, let's keep going, folks. The word crown is 23, just like the word history. Notice how you say that. History. What does a snake do? It hisses. It's a lot of bullshit history that we've been taught, folks. It's not even true. But guess who runs history? Well, those that temporarily claim to be the crown. Of course, their crown is crumbling. But nonetheless, history is 23, crown is 23. I'll take a wild guess who runs the history of the world. What about our blood? Well, we can go really deep with this. Adrenochrome, you know what they do with that. It's pretty disgusting. But the crown feels like they own your blood. They own the rights to who you are, which is where you get the social security number. And then, of course, that gets traded on the stock exchange as a bond. However that works. I know that's kind of along the lines of how exactly it works. But nonetheless, the crown and blood are combined together. They're linked together. It's time to take your crown back, folks. The blood's sacred. What about sports? Well, these are two big names in the game of basketball. Of course, this guy's retired. This guy right here is still playing. And notice, they both share that same common number. These guys are entertainment for the crown. That's who they worked for. They may not have known that directly, but that's what they do. They're entertainment for the crown, and they're there to keep you busy so you get lost in translation and you don't really see what's really going on behind the scenes. I'd even go far to say, folks, this is pretty bold of me to say, but I'd say if you want to talk about the fallen angels and the Nephilim and then coming into human form, look at their statistics, 6'5", 6'9", tall, big, athletic, strong, superhuman-like. Just a theory of mine, by the way. I'm not saying it's true. What about the cards of illumination and the tarot? Here's the next step. We take numerology and then we tie it to the cards of illumination. 52 cards matching the 52 weeks of the year. 4 suits matching the 4 seasons. Extremely accurate. Then the tarot is an offshoot of the cards of illumination. Cards of illumination, according to what I've read, they've come first and tarot comes second. There's more cards in the tarot than the cards of illumination, but nonetheless, the wands, this is the wands. This guy's carrying 10 wands, and the wands means clubs. So you got the 10 of clubs, the 10 of wands, he's carrying 10 wands, the 10 of wands. Card 31, card 23. If you want these lineages, if you want the graphics for these, hit me up and I'll send them to you so you can start decoding a little bit more for yourself. This is where it's at, folks. You get more layers to observe from. You can't just rely on numerology. Some of these people out there are just slinging their decoding with just using numerology. Their story gets watered down. This is where it's at. Nonetheless, the crown equals 23, matching the 10 of clubs. London, which is where the city resides in where the crown is, where they claim to take the crown. That equals 31. Notice card 31, the 10 of clubs, is a match of card 23, the 10 of clubs. Yet they're different systems, same card, different numbers, same thing. Same thing. Keep in mind, the government of Great Britain is located at 10 Downing Street. 10. The letter W, the single letter in the Chaldean, it is a 23. But in the Chaldean system, it's a 6. 6 is the first perfect number because the divine finished its great work on the 6th day, that we're told. Has great significance. If you know astrology and what the 6th house means, it's a master house. It's the mirror of the 9. 9 is the endings and completions number. It pairs up with the 9. But nonetheless, this is the other layer that we observe from. Now we get into what's called alchemy, folks. It's the elements of the periodic table and how they link to numerology and the cards and the tarot. I have a clock here and it's striking midnight because carbon, which is what we are, we're made up of carbon. We eat carbon. Carbon is the king of all elements, according to the Royal Society of Chemistry. It would be the first crown, folks. We need 3 here. We got number 1. That's the W. The crown. The first 6. Its weight is 12. 12 hours on a clock. 12 hours of daytime. 12 hours of nighttime. And we get into 2 crowns. Now we're getting into the number 66. It's a total number of 12, so it's a number of endings and completions, a finale number, 12. 12 tribes of Judah, 12 astrology signs, 12 apostles. Notice I put in here 2 big names on the stage, on the world stage right now. 2 big names. And both their names in numerology equal the number 66. Don't you think that's kind of fascinating? Especially, there's a reason why I have a Bible in the back, because there are 66 books in the Holy Bible. And of course, Revelation talks about the trumpets, the trumpets being blown. And these guys have a numerology of 66, and Revelation is the 66th book. Kind of interesting, right? But here is the 66, 2 carbons. Notice it's 12 and 12, that's 24. That's night and day. WW, 2 crowns. What about the third one? That's the triple crown, folks. And notice I have some horses racing in the background. Why? Because horse racing originated in the country of Great Britain. Triple crown winner. It is in baseball, but of course baseball's run by the crown as well. All sports run by the crown. Keep you busy. Keep you inundated so you don't see what's going on behind the Wizard of Oz. www is the World Wide Web. That's what they called it, but we don't really use this anymore, but when it first came out, it was www. You know how much energy these 3 letters got? An awful amount of energy. That's 666, folks. Now you could say, well, that's the devil. It could be. Definitely some devilish things going on the internet. Pornhub is one of the largest conglomerates on the internet today. It surpasses all sports combined. Perversion. So you could say that, but 666 www, triple crown. Notice the word triple equals 23, just like the word crown equals the number 23. So you got a double 23 here, equaling 46. That's the mirror of the 64. 64 squares on a chessboard, 64 codons in our DNA. 46 is Jesus Lucifer, which makes up our matrix reality. Good cop, bad cop. That would be 3 carbons, folks. 3 of them. Carbon, carbon, carbon. That's the king of all elements according to the Royal Society of Chemistry. So there's your triple crown right there, folks. 666 equals 18. And we can go another layer deep with the 18. That's Argon. Jesus equals 18. So you see how we could easily get another story from that. Oh, wait a minute. Jesus is the good guy. Okay, but he's part of the process. He's part of the whole schematic. Good cop, bad cop. There's the bad cop. Or what society has deemed as the bad cop. The character Lucifer. The illustrious, infamous Lucifer. The fallen angel, according to Isaiah 14 verses 12. This is the counterpart of Jesus, folks. And, in the English side of it, we just saw 666. Well, it's 555 because, these are reduced down, but it's 23, 23, 23. The total is 69. Now, this is a episode of the show Lucifer. He's in an auction, and look at the number he puts up. Of all numbers, you could have put up anything, but why 69? Because that's the sign of Cancer, folks. Cancer is the crown. If you haven't seen my video on decoding the pillars in King Solomon, Boaz and Yachin, hope I pronounced that right. I'm not always good at pronouncing things. If I didn't pronounce that, I'm sorry. But nonetheless, 69, folks, that is the sign of Cancer. Remember, Cancer kills a lot of people. Kills a lot of people every year. And that's an astrological sign. And, it's the 4th one, and that rules the heart chakra. So, you got to start putting 2 and 2 together and, connect the dots, put the pieces of the puzzle together. Here we have 23, 23, 23. That's 3 Vanadiums. There's the number 50. 50 is related to 10, and 10 is 119 or 911. Telling us a story. So, VVV. Vanadium's 28, numerology, matching that of Lucifer. Again, crown, folks. Triple crown. So, you just ask yourself, who's running the world, and do they have your best interests at heart? Are they service to self or service to others? Now, of course, they're going to probably be a little bit of both, but what is their predominant one? Well, that's a no-brainer. Service to self. service to Satan. That's why their house of cards is crumbling away, because it can't sustain itself when you're service to self. What about the Pythagorean numerology? This uses the numbers 1 through 9. I typically don't use this, but showing you another layer that can just coincide with this one. How they're all connected. WWW555 gives a total numerology output of 15. 555 is 3 borons. Notice the most abundant weight of boron is 11.009. There's your 911. That matches tin, which is 119, both 5s. Boron, boron, boron equals the number 69, which of course matches WWW in the English. And of course, I have the devil card here because WWW in the full reduction, using the numbers 1 through 9, equals the number 15. This is the 15th card in the tarot system. You know, this character's real, folks, because people have said it's real. People don't realize the power of the placebo. Oh, it has nothing to do with just medicine. The minute you come up with an idea and you share it with somebody and somebody agrees with you, you instantly have what's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, I'm not saying the devil's not real, because the idea of the devil makes him real. We don't even have to go in and debate on that, but the idea of the devil makes it real. And here are the two opposing forces, folks. Good cop, bad cop. Both necessary in the scheme of things, because you take one out of the equation and you ain't got the other one, and then you don't have a reality anymore. Notice that both of these characters equal the number 74. And what do they have to do with the W? Well, the 74th element is tungsten, and look at what its abbreviation is. The letter W. Tungsten lights up light bulbs. You want to talk about illumination? Who's illuminating who? Lucifer is supposed to be the light bringer, and Jesus is the light of the world, so who's who here? Who is fake and who's real and who's fake? And, you know, light bringer, light of the world. Both share the W. Both share the 74. Both share the element that is used to make light bulbs. Kind of interesting. Go a little deeper, you know, I mean, this element really ties it all in. These two elements share commonalities because they both have the 74. Tungsten's the 74th element. This means it has 74 protons. And then arsenic has 33 protons, but it has an atomic weight of 74. So they both share that. And, you know, Jesus was supposedly crucified at the age of 33. How about that? His name equals 74 in numerology, and he was crucified at the age of 33. Don't you find that kind of interesting? And they're related to the letter W. Tungsten arsenic in numerology is the number 55, and that's a direct match with Ezekiel 1 verse 10 in the Bible, the 4 faces of what's called the divine, which is the 4 fixed signs of astrology, because the Bible's astrology. Ox, lion, eagle, man equal 55. Tungsten, arsenic 55. So you see, these two are one and the same. They may be different, but they're necessary for one another. At least in this matrix they are. Here's my I got 2 slides left. The 23rd English letter again is the W. The 23rd Greek letter is this one right here. Doesn't that kind of look like the W? Does to me. Very similar. And then, you know, the word crown's 23. And then let's bring pi into it. Pi is the never-ending digits, 3.1415. They go on infinitely. It starts off with the number 3. That's why the number 3 is very, very important in all of this. But nonetheless, 3.14, it just goes on infinitely, and you can measure numbers with that. And the 23, If you go type it into a software program that measures the decimal digits of pi, you'll see that the 23 appears at the 16th decimal digit. That matches the word Lord. Used a lot in some versions of the Bible. The word Lord. 16. Crown. You see what I mean? It's kind of all connected. Who's the Lord? You know, you have many layers to observe it from. So here you go. My last slide, excuse me. Yeah, my last slide. Crown is 23. 23rd letter is the W. Here's the 23rd Greek letter. Almost identical match. And then here is Neptune's pitchfork, which kind of matches the 23rd Greek letter, which this is where this came from. So see how they're all connected? And then notice Neptune is 38. And then the word 2-3 is 38. And of course, 2-3 is crown, and 2-3 is the letter W. So you can see clearly, folks, how all these are connected. How you bring esoteric into this. How you bring linguistics into this. And then how you bring in mystical arts, the numerology of all this stuff. All this stuff plays a role, folks. All of it plays a role. Astrology, all of it. You just can't use one modality and then call it a day and think you got it all figured out. It just doesn't work that way. It's too complicated. Not if you want real truth. So what is it that you saw during this presentation? I appreciate all of you watching these videos and all the support I get and all the emails I'm getting. You know, we're stronger together. I'm just one voice, and you know, I'm very rigid. Of course, I'm very stubborn at times with my decoding. Aren't you? I mean, where do you bend? That's why I do this stuff, because, you know, I just don't take anybody's word for it. They send me stuff. I get asked to decode so many things now. And I got to be choosy because, you know, like what's the most important things to decode at this point? I think we're still establishing the matrix to get people on board to finally understand what is running this matrix reality. What's behind it? Because man's being used, folks. Man is being used to fulfill an agenda in this world. Perhaps the entire game of life is all fixed and we're being used for that. I can't prove that. But I'm giving my bits of support to show you what is running the show right now. And this has got to come down because it doesn't work anymore. You know? These people, man, they don't work. Trying to run man. Trying to tell me what to do. What I can and can't do. Doesn't work anymore, folks. So that's it. The letter W. Entertainment. Blood. History. That's where it's at, folks. The number 23, which is called the Royal Star of the Lion in numerology, by the way, which that equals 69, which is yin yang. But nonetheless, that's all I got for today. My name is Logan. Thank you so very much for watching.